So, goat yoga is the new thing. That's what's hip and cool nowadays. Oh, Jesus Christ, I suck at this. Oh, hey everyone. Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tuber. Welcome back if this is your 14th episode review of the Rookie Season 2. Great to be back. Thank God it's Rookie Sunday, and as well as there's a ton of other shows for me to watch. I haven't watched any of my Sunday shows. I'm behind on Walking Dead, Supergirl, Batwoman. Westworld came back, apparently. That's going to be fun. Hope it's better than Season 2. But that's another show for another time, or another episode for another time. Who knows? Anyway, this is, again, What's on the Two, where each and every Monday I review, specifically for this, every rookie episode of the Season 2 lineup. So yeah, here we go. Again, this episode was actually pretty cool. It was actually a pretty good setup of setting up another thing that I really hope we get a big payoff eventually. I really hope, because this episode reminded me of... The Rookie is serialized. I'm not saying that, but sometimes we do get episodes that are a little bit more disjointed, like they're just, character pieces. We get character development, but the overall, big plot doesn't necessarily have to continue post that. Besides the serial killer two-parter we had earlier this season, and the cliffhanger from Season 1 to Season 2 with the whole virus thing, which is the biological pathogen, which is kind of more ironic nowadays, considering our current environment, but alright, well, whatever. And then with... so I was really pleasantly surprised. This was more streamlined. This started off as a normal Rookie episode, but then we sort of converge into this one central plot that it really set up the stakes of what it can be. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not the end of this, but again, I'll get to that when we do for the Butcher recap. But baseline, I really enjoyed this episode. This definitely, I'm gonna hope it has a big payoff. Not next week. Next week's gonna be more of another one-off with a fun guest star apparently, basing on the preview. But anyway, let's go through the Butchered recap with y'all. So we begin with Nolan and Harper hitting up a house because a resident called in because his dog apparently was a bomb detecting dog when he was in the NSA, I believe. And he's been barking a lot at this certain house, so he called the cops because maybe there's a bomb happening over here. The officers head into the house. Turns out to be a gender reveal thing, which are getting more and more crazier by the year. Who uses C4 to identify? What happens to the good old days where you just open a box and you just get powdered all over your face? So that was kind of a funny cold open. I believe it transitions there to a horror thing, because I'm like, wait, it's not Halloween. What are we missing here? It turns out that West is sleeping in his bed. I was assuming, are we going to get that up? Cool. Oh, actor the actor guy come back. Is he back in this episode? No, turns out to be a dog. Here's the thing. It's inevitable that any of these shows has to introduce a dog at some point. And the Rookie was high due for a dog character. Meet Kojo. Kojo. Apparently Lucy adopted him because she needs some stress relieving after the whole serial killer thing. So dogs are fun, but Kojo's he's kind of a handful. He really is. And Wes is not necessarily a fan of him. And so this is going to set up a very interesting dynamic as we get along on it, because apparently he's not a big fan of dogs. And Lucy, I think she's way over her head, but we'll get to that in a moment. We cut to Nolan and his girlfriend, which again, I completely forgot the name. They're doing some jogging. She's concerned about his stress levels, with Nolan being a police officer. She says medically, officers that start their careers in their 20s tend to be more streamlined to their 40s because they had years of training and years of balancing stress. Whereas for Nolan, he jumped into his mid-40s, so all this is completely different. All this is not entirely up to norm. So he's kind of in risk, and she's actually pretty concerned, but Nolan is pretty cool on it. But she decided, okay, where's this Fitbit? Where's this Fitbit-looking thing. I think I had that name. I completely forgot what the name of it was. Wear it, track your stress levels, so we can see what we're working as. So no one agrees, considering the fact that the two are dating now. And we cut to the station, I believe. Yeah, we cut to the station. Nick's back. Armstrong's back. He's back from his vacation after the whole Rosalind thing a couple weeks ago. So he's back. He's back to work. He's having everyone go through the usual routine. Mentioned some things he mentioned something that I initially thought this was going to connect to the overall plot. Maybe it could still. Maybe this again setting up more stuff in the future. I hope, but again, who knows? Again, the writers know better than me. They make a gag about. Well, they introduce a concept. It's not a concept, but it's like a real life protocol. LA Watch or something. I forgot what it was. Where police officers can get very special, high authorized permission to use certain functions, but those are usually saved for big cases, big high-ranking officers. They make a joke about Nolan's Fitbit. Everyone starts giving him advice on how to manage his stress, gun shooting, dancing, meditation, and goat yoga. I don't know what goat yoga is. It sounds interesting, but guess what? I'm gonna have sorry, guys. I've been recording a bunch of stuff back-to-back, catching up since my voice is now back up to norm for a little bit before. When does the shoe drop? When does something bad happen to me that I'm unable to speak? Which in this case, goat yoga. Don't know what that is. Don't want to have a goat in my house, so ain't gonna happen in my books. I'll just stick to the gym for the time being. So here we split off. Chen and Bradford talking about the dog. Bradford's not entirely a fan of the dog. / he doesn't think Chen's ready for a dog. Meanwhile, for West, he's not happy at all. He didn't even get consulted on this. He doesn't like dogs, period. And I think from there, so Chen and Bradford are investigating a drone complaint because a man's wife, a very attractive wife, is being stalked by a drone. She's not entirely down. She's entirely fine with it. She's like, she likes it when someone's interested in it. But I think when she sees who's behind the other end, which is, I am not surprised. I'm at the least, but guess what? Why the hell not? So that's a skirmish. They leave that alone. We'll touch upon that later. I think this. Yeah, so Jackson and Wes and Diaz are getting some shawarma or some falafel. Yeah, I tried falafel before. It's not for me. I know it's technically made of entirely vegetables and supposed to look like meat. I'm not a big fan of falafel. Not a big fan. The last time I tried was 3 years ago. Okay, anyway, but okay, off the falafel show. Let's get back to what's on the two. They're about to enjoy their food. A guy saying some weird ass words comes past them. They initially think he's drunk. Turns out he actually was shot in the head, and he's acting crazy. Meanwhile, Nolan and Harper, I believe they run into a thief trying to escape. They chase into a warehouse. They manages to catch him until they discover there's a dead body within the warehouse. So they call in Armstrong. So they're trying to figure out what's what. How did this person die? The usual detecting stuff. Nolan goes outside the canvas the area. He finds a security camera consultant trying to fix a camera, but he doesn't get a name. He's acting really suspicious, but Nolan doesn't catch on because of the current situation. He doesn't really catch on, so we leave that alone for now. But however, meanwhile, for Harper and Armstrong, they discovered that the guy has a hotel room because apparently you can put stuff in your shoes. Okay. So before we get there, I think Chen and Bradford get a call. Yeah, because the dog apparently destroyed the apartment. It is not looking. I didn't realize that dog is so cute. I would love that dog. Not to mess up my stuff, but I would love to have that dog. Maybe one day. And what's worst of all, he went to Wes's room. It's completely destroyed. His varsity jacket is destroyed as well. So it's not looking good for Chen and her plea to have a dog. So it's not really entirely looking well for her. I believe from there, we cut to the hotel room. The three enter the hotel room. They find a bunch of newly bought stuff, which apparently doesn't fit the bill for a homeless man. Since homeless, this is weird. This is going to be very difficult to say. It's going to be very insulting. Homeless people don't exactly buy very expensive designer shoes with money. They usually buy food or water or whatever I see homeless people smokes. But that's a whole Legend Talk conversation there another time when I'm able to record that again. But however, they notice as well, there's 2 beds, so there's probably a second person there. The second person shows up. We enter a brief chase scene. Nolan manages to catch it with the interception of Chen and Bradford. Turns out Bradford knows the dude, which another thing, I of course, this is the Butcher recap, so I'm going to skip a lot of stuff before. Please just watch the episode and not deal with my horrendous recap of the episode. I'm not doing this show justice. Well, we knew this already from last season, but we also get reminders of it. Bradford was in the army. He did tours in Afghanistan and Iran. He had a squad. This turns out to be one of his squad members, who also lost his leg during his tour of duty. So they're taking him back to the police station. Bradford inadvertently mentions that the other person who died turns out to be another member of their squad, and the guy is heartbroken that the other guy died. So, then later we get to the interrogation scene, where we see Nolan, Armstrong, and Harper interrogating the dude. He's like, listen, he just showed up. And fun fact, the guy's name who died, I just remember this, his name is Joe. I feel honored, but I'm dead. They named the character after me. Well, not inadvertently. They have a character that's named after my nickname, and they kill him. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, so turns out he showed up one day with a lot of money. They started buying stuff. Apparently, from what he told, he went to this abandoned building. He found a bunch of money. He took a bunch of money, and so that didn't really necessarily sit well with the people. We're assuming that the people who were responsible for this didn't figure it out and killed him. We're pretty much assuming from there. So the group heads out to the warehouse. It's empty, nothing. So, of course, obviously, they probably scrapped the moment like they were compromised by the homeless person. And, well, the homeless person being the person named after me. Nolan finds a ripped magazine clipping with a logo, which turns out to be the same logo of that camera guy we saw earlier before. So they try to facial recognize him, but before they're able to do that, they get a call from Gray saying that they have to return to base ASAP. No bullshit. Head back right now. Turns out when they were filing for the search warrant for that building, it rang up the chain of command, and they said, shut it down. And no, just stop. Don't even bother doing this. So Gray fills him in. It's like, listen, I don't know anything. I tried my best to figure it out. No one will tell me anything. So he's like, you can continue the investigation, but you can't go down this current avenue. You have to pick another avenue or just drop the cases, pretty much. So, but Gray said, listen, calm down. Take a breath. Tomorrow, get some sleep tonight. We'll reconsider our approach in the morning. But while he leaves and Nick is about to leave too, everyone else is like, no, we can't. There's a potential murderer out there. We need to find him. So Bradford decides to use the LA Watch feature. Get some embarrassing answers to those personal questions, which makes no context because we didn't hear the questions, and. They have to wait an hour. Bradford talks to the I think his name is Mitch or something. Yeah, Mitch. I'm pretty sure. He lets him go, but he lets him know that they're gonna do their best to catch him. And they do eventually get a call back. It turns out this is from some national security firm, which is very weird because why would a national security firm that owns the building have illegal money inside that building? So something's a bit up, and it's owned by this colonel or sergeant-looking fellow. So it's a bit concerning right now. So they all realize this is pretty serious. Let's go home. Let's go relax. Let's go, take a deep breath and try and calm down from this. So from there, Lucy also gets the call that Wes figured out what happened to the house. He's not happy at all. So I think from there, everyone goes home. Specifically, we go to Nolan's house, kind of chillaxing a little bit, and he gets a knock on his door. It turns out to be the same camera dude from before, except in civilian clothes and a lot more buffer. And I'll tell you what, if I answered the door and this guy showed up in my face, I'm fucked. Anywho, so he goes in, trying to assert his dominance over Nolan. He has done his research. He's done his research that Nolan is the weakest link. Not by his demeanor, his body type, his stature. It means his experience in terms of like his level of like being able to handle his current shit. Because Bradford's been to war, Harper's been undercover, and Chen, we all know what Chen just recently went through. So Nolan is obviously the least severe experience one of the group. So he's pushing him to like, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you a chance. Step away from this cave, walk away, or you're gonna be safe. He leaves. Turns out it was all a ploy. They put a tracking device on his car. So Bradford and Harper were going to go out initially by themselves to go handle the situation, see what they can find out. Nolan and Chen doesn't want to sit out. So the four go along to this pier where they find the Colonel. I'm going to call him the Colonel. I think he has another name. I'm just going to call him Colonel. It sounds fucking cool. The Colonel. The Colonel and his squad loading up what's the name? The tanks, the shell containers that boats use to transport stuff. They're loading up the fake money, presumably. The four need to confirm it is the fake money before they can call them for backup, because if they waste their time and it's not, they're going to be fucked. They're going to be screwed up, and they're going to have a major problem with the higher ups. So, thankfully, one of the forklifts starts malfunctioning, so they have to go get a new one. So they use the opportunity to sneak up, try to check for the money, but they knew ahead. They got them. They trapped them. However, tables started to turn. Turns out they actually brought Diaz in, and with a sniper ready to kill the Colonel if anything happens. He calls the bluff, but however, Bradford just says, "Listen, the money thing, it's not our problem right now. It's not today's issue. We just want the guy who killed the homeless person." He makes the agreement. He lets the guy, he sends him over to the police officer, calling him a weak link as well. It's like, if you're an idiot for getting yourself caught like this, you got to make a sacrifice for the bigger game here. So, turns out this Colonel is funding Black Ops operations using illegal money, because U.S. government has to track every single dollar to fund every operation. However, there are obviously, this is going to be a very murky territory about the legitimacy and validation of certain government organizations. Is this a representation of real life? It could be. I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. Like, I know I should care, but I don't. Like, I'm not going to lie and pretend like this is an issue. Like, it probably is an issue, but I don't know anything about it, and, kudos to the show for tackling this. Anywho, so they get the guy, Colonel and his crew take all the money and they leave. I'm pretty sure this is not the last we've seen of this guy. I'm pretty sure he's going to pop back up sometime in the future. So the five take the guy to the station. They wake up Gray from. He's clearly wearing BG. Like, I feel sorry for Gray. Like, he's like sleeping at like 1 a.m. in the morning. He gets a call from the office. I'm like, fuck. So Gray lets it go. He's fine with it. And Bradford tells him, like, listen, you're not going to get a call from the higher ups because there's absolutely no way they're going to admit to what's going on with this operation. So they get the guy. I believe from there, Lucy returns to her apartment. Well, we cut to the next day. Lucy gave up Kojo to Bradford to appease Wes. So pretty simple conclusion there. Nolan goes to talk to Armstrong. He's not entirely happy with Nolan's decision. He said this could be the beginning of you doing more stuff against the law while you're trying to still act like the law. So you got to be careful not like delve too much. And Armstrong did reveal the other secret that Rosalind had, which, okay, you know what? I'm fine with the conclusion. If it turns out to be there's another secret, fine. But Armstrong admits that when he was trying to, during his final moments of arresting Rosalind, he had to break the law to get the information he needed just to put her away, which I understand the purpose. I understand the purpose behind it, but obviously the methods he used were not validated in the court of law, but they don't know that yet. And Rosalind knows as well, but she opts not to tell. So there's obviously a bigger game she's playing at. Again, it's more this season of the rookies building up future conflicts, hopefully, that we're going to see down the line, which I really hope we get a big payout. I really do, but we'll see what happens. We got 6 episodes left, so I think we're good. If anything, season 3, come on, ABC, come on. Anyway, I'll start my renewal campaign in a couple weeks. Anywho, And I think the episode ends with Nolan going to his girlfriend, Doctor Lady, telling her, "Hey, I'm not gonna do the Fitbit looking thing anymore. It's just causing me more stress as is. So I got a couple of other ways to relieve my stress. You assume it's sex. It turns out to be goat yoga." And that's where we kind of end up the episode. Like, yes, there's a potential bigger threat out there, and we're focusing on goat yoga. You know what? It's the rookie. This all makes sense, and that's where we end the episode. Yeah, I'm just letting you guys know I'm not going to do goat yoga. I'm not. It's not something I'm planning on doing. But yeah, this was another solid episode. It's a building block. This was a good episode in its own right, but it's also like hopefully building to a larger payoff in the near future. Hopefully, this Colonel dude was intimidating. He was not loud, but he was asserting dominance, and that was a key thing that all villains should have. They asserted their dominance. They're in control. Will we see this guy again? I'm 100% sure we'll see this guy again. We added a dog to the show. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the benefit. This is really more character driven. Like, we got Lucy still trying to move piece by piece away from the whole trauma she endured. We learned Wes doesn't like dogs. Yeah, there's just a bigger threat out there. Well, we're going to see this threat again. When and how will be the question, but hopefully before we get to the season finale. So, anywho, yeah, so 2 thumbs up in my book. Really enjoyed it, and that's going to do it for me. So, if you guys were unaware, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what's coming up overall on What's on the Tube, we do Katie Clean chapter reviews every single Saturday after a brand new episode on the CW. We also do Nancy Drew episode reviews every Thursday after a new episode on the CW, but that's currently on a break because they're on their last hiatus before the season, before their final stretch of episodes in April. But if you only care about the rookie, we do new rookie episode reviews every single Monday normally. Even though we're a little bit far back than usual, I'm a little bit behind because of my voice and being thrown away. In terms of scheduling because of the coronavirus thing, they kind of did push things back a little bit. But yeah, so that's where we are right now. We're going to do a couple one-ups in the future in a couple of weeks to kind of like fill the gap between the next Drew episode. So there'll be something, but I'll announce it probably the Katie Clean episode reviews if you are very interested in the overall spectrum. But again, if you only care about the rookie stuff, we'll be back next week with another episode review, hopefully back on its usual normal time slot of Mondays. So not that far away. Anyway. But again, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of us, please subscribe to ActionX on YouTube. Please ring the bell for notifications when we have a new episode review live. Like, favorite, share this episode review if you please. Follow us on all the social media feeds, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.